So it's currently Saturday. Markets are seeing a little bit of green after the nasty deviations that we saw, guys, this week with the key events that were going to be happening, which I'll let you guys know about. The CPI and PPI inflation data was not looking good, caused a lot of deviations, not only for the US markets, but also the crypto markets in general. Right now, we have different perspectives around Ethereum and also Bitcoin, and practically the price action that we're currently seeing. A lot of people think that, we're seeing some strength and that higher highs are, on the verge and that we're going to keep ripping up. Others believe that we could be seeing some deviations based off of the relative strength that we're currently seeing. And right now, this has everyone wondering, is altcoin season going to be happening in 2025 or 2026? And I've been giving my perspective around this, talking about how different altcoins popped off at different times. If you look back in the previous cycle, Doge made a new all-time high way sooner than a coin like Render. And this is where AI, memes, all these coins play different spots. But keeping up with the price action, the news events, and the global economic events lets us know exactly what the markets are doing in a whole. And today I want to walk you guys through that price action, the news events, and what you should be anticipating if you're investing in altcoins. But with all that being said, go check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. Guys, at the beginning of this week, I let you guys know about the key news events that were happening. As the days rolled out, I let you know what was anticipated, and then when the deviations happened, we were pretty much anticipating it. And this is where you can pretty much understand what is going to be happening if you keep up with the day-to-day, the news events, and the sentiment and what we're currently seeing with price action. But with all that being said, guys, let's go and jump straight into the charts and what you need to be aware of. So guys, like how I said, we are seeing a little bit of a recovery right now in the markets after seeing some nasty deviations moving into Thursday and Friday. But this is why, a lot of people are anticipating what's going to be happening next based off of the price action that we're currently seeing right now. Bitcoin is sitting at around 117,000. A few different perspectives around the price action with what we're seeing really goes to show that more than likely we could be seeing a little bit more deviations, just pretty much with the uneasy zones that we're currently sitting at with Bitcoin. Others believe, though, more than likely we're going to be pretty much making new all-time highs, but breakdowns do take place whenever we're pretty much seeing corrections. So right now it is looking a little bit green, but everyone's wondering, are we on the next leg up, or are we going to be deviating a little bit more? Ethereum, guys, has been on a downward momentum after almost breaking that 4,800 region, 4,900 zone. But right now, we're still pretty much, deviating. Everyone's anticipating if this is the end of this imbalance, if we're going to rip back up, or if more deviations are to come. Altcoins are practically just following the price action around Ethereum right now. So as Ethereum starts to deviate, altcoins deviate as well. And right now, altcoins, guys, are actually lagging behind with Ethereum, and it's because Ethereum needs to break that all-time high for everyone to feel conclusive and go all back into altcoins. Bitcoin dominance has been on the crash down, which we have been talking about. A lot of people believe that this is already the huge deviation for Bitcoin dominance, and liquidity is going to be moving into Ethereum and altcoins. But this is where a few people give the perspective that we still do see bounces and corrections even whenever the deviations are taking place. But right now, Ethereum's final boss, or the metric and pretty much zone everyone is looking at, is the 4.8K zone. Massive liquidity wall is waiting, billions in asks, the last fortress before open skies. Break it and Ethereum enters vertical acceleration. This is where legends print profits. So you can see pretty much this wall, guys, this liquidity wall that's waiting for us. And the moment that we can break this, we're going to see all that liquidity rocket the price action with Ethereum up like crazy. But until we can break that zone, which we were just talking about, trying to break that 4,800 region, we're going to be seeing deviations and corrections. But everyone believes that it's already going to be happening. And this is why everyone's calling for altcoin season already to happen in 2025. Now, if we look at a few other different perspectives, Dr. Profit talks about exactly his perspective around Bitcoin and how it's been rallying really hard and what he thinks is going to be happening in the next few months. He says Bitcoin just reached a new all-time high yesterday. This process of repeating all-time highs will repeat in the coming weeks and months based on continued increase of money supply, which is true, guys. We've been seeing the M2 money supply increase like crazy, with China printing money, a lot of other countries, and also rate cuts anticipated in September. And also that post that we talked about in yesterday's discussion, talking about, not yesterday, day before, guys, talking about how actually we're anticipating multiple rate cuts. If you didn't watch that video, go watch that video. It's a really great explanation on why the market's dumped and what's anticipated. But he goes on to say the increase of the money supply will be intensified after the next rate cut in September, which is true, guys. This is what everyone is anticipating moving into September. So this is where he says he's anticipating new all-time highs for Bitcoin. Now, Income Sharks gives us the perspective around Bitcoin and overall exactly what we're currently seeing. It says the Bitcoin OBV has me a little uneasy, watching if and how this holds. Not calling for a crash or top, just pointing out objectively the strength is giving channel vibes, not face melting vibes. Making a new all-time high when OBV stayed flat was not ideal. So based off of exactly what's going on with this chart, he pretty much has a perspective on exactly what's going to be happening with Bitcoin. You can see Crypto Intelligence X gives his perspective on this, summing it up. He says Coinbase institutional talking about a full-scale altcoin season starting in September is not ideal either. Let's see what happens. So everyone thinking that altcoin season is already going to initiate and just occur, it's probably not completely true. We're probably going to be seeing deviations before the next send, but usually this is what people anticipate. People anticipate that we see those deviations and then the huge rip up, especially after we've been, outperforming for the last few months. If we look at the price action with Ethereum, guys, and with Bitcoin, whenever we jump into the monthly time frame, you can see that we have been outperforming like crazy, and these long wicks are not doing us justice. We could be seeing deviations just overall with the massive moves that we saw, not only with Ethereum, but also with Bitcoin as well. So whenever we start to look at these charts and you start to really look at it, I know everybody wants everything to just explode, but whenever you see this strong price action move like this, we tend to see corrections, we tend to see deviations. So just anticipate it, understand it, and understand why everyone is giving the perspective that more than likely we could be seeing a few deviations before we rip up. Now, giving you a little bit more positive sentiment, Crypto Missional talks about how a strong breakdown of the Bitcoin dominance chart doesn't mean that it doesn't have bounces in between. It says those periods are important periods to be buying back your altcoins. So even whenever we see, Bitcoin dominance start to rally up, this is whenever you should, look at the altcoins that are getting squeezed and allocate to the market. Understand that with Bitcoin dominance crashing down, we still do see a few bounces. Overall, he says, though, the altcoin market capitalization valued in Bitcoin has bottomed and has a strong bullish divergence. This indicates that there's way more upside to come for the markets. And especially with Bitcoin dominance just starting to, initially crash down very strong. If we go, this is the daily time frame, guys. If we jump into the monthly time frame, you can see it much more conclusively. Whenever the last altcoin season started, both of the altcoin seasons, you can see the massive deviation that we saw with Bitcoin dominance. And currently right now, that is what we're seeing. And this is why everyone thinks this is the start of altcoin season, which in nature it is, but it's not just going to be happening automatically. So you got to have to understand that process and pretty much what we're currently seeing. But this is why everyone thinks that more highs are going to be coming in the market. Benjamin Cohen, though, gives us the perspective around altcoins right now with the total 3E chart, and he says alts continue to drop against Ethereum, going to show that Ethereum is rallying and alts are lagging behind. He says trend likely to continue until ETH puts in all-time highs, which is what everybody has been saying, guys. Main fact is just due to the psychological standpoint of it. Until we break the all-time high, everyone feels like we're in a bear market, that we're not going to be seeing new all-time highs. But the moment Ethereum flips all that, everyone is going to start allocating to altcoins like crazy, and this is where the markets are going to start pumping. But right now, we're seeing Ethereum get rejected at that zone that we were talking about, sitting, right around the final boss, which Merlin the Trader talked about, which is 4.8K. Until we can break that region, we are not going to be seeing new all-time highs for altcoins, and you need to understand this, guys. This is super important. But overall, there is some key events happening. We've seen Trump have a negotiation talk with Putin in terms of trying to end the Russia and Ukraine war, which is positive news. This has everyone anticipating what's going to be happening moving into next week, more data that's going to be coming out, and also exactly what's anticipated with the Fed and a new chair coming out from President Trump. So these are the news events that are currently taking place after all the inflation data and everything that came out this week. On Sunday, tomorrow, I'm gonna drop another update letting you guys know what's anticipated for the whole week moving into next week, of course. Crypto markets, though, right now are seeing a little bit of green, a little bit of recovery after the massive deviations that they've been seeing, but everything is just trading sideways right now, testing specific zones and waiting to see if we can either break or if we're going to be deviating. My altcoin portfolio on a few of these assets have been seeing some significant pumps. Condux was one of the main coins. I dropped a whole video talking about it on how Alex Becker talked about it. It's a small market cap coin. And right now, guys, it's one of the coins that's on the verge of exploding, pretty much due to the fact that it has a lot of hype and it's still a micro cap coin. But you should be looking at multiple assets: Hash AI, Condux, Destra Network, Any One Protocol, Palm AI, Pow AI. There's a lot of different coins, guys, that I really believe in that I know are going to do really great. But it's just a matter of looking into these coins, deciding where you want to allocate, and getting started. But that is currently what is taking place in the markets, guys. Saw some massive deviations over the week because of the key news events that were happening. We were anticipating this. If you're not new to the channel, I let you guys know all of this information on the day-to-day, how everyone's reacting to the data and everything that is currently going on. Right now, with how everything is moving, everyone's more likely anticipating a little bit more deviations before a huge rip up, and it makes more sense to have a correction instead of just continuous price action. I know everyone's calling for altcoin season. Everybody wants altcoin season to start already. I want altcoin season to start already, but it needs to start the right way. We can't just have massive, manipulation and pumps in the market and just continue to think that those pumps are going to keep happening. We're going to be seeing corrections. We do see deviations, and the best thing you can do is position yourself around those. And on this channel, guys, I let you guys know when to be doing all that. So if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. Do not capitulate your bags right now. Look for good positions to start dollar cost averaging in. Go check out the rest of my content so you guys can have an understanding on how to read the market and what to anticipate. And stay tuned for the market update that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow to let you know what to anticipate for the rest of the week. But if you guys have any questions or suggestions or anything that you want to see, drop it down below and let me know exactly what you think, or what exactly you are trying to see. Overall, though, I drop day-to-day content every day, so stay tuned and hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. Peace.